Hey, good evening everyone. Today is day 2 of putting this battery pack together, and I thought I'd show you how far I got within a couple hours of messing with these batteries last night. Actually, it's almost 3 hours, so I'm going to give you a little look-see. I also wanted to show you where I had put my little tiny house. It's the lab now. This is Dan's lab, and I love where it's at. Like, I got a little nook in the woods here. I didn't want to trim the trees too much, but I thought it looked pretty cool there. I got to get to finishing that. It's protected with that stuff, but I got to get the cedar shakes on there. It really completes it, you know. I think I'm going to paint that door some kind of color. Maybe blue. Maybe that blue right there. Imagine that on that door. What do you think? I don't know. Anyway, the reason that's there is because this is going to be where I keep my batteries permanently on the wall. And, you know, it's due to fire hazards and that sort of thing. So it's just better to have it there. And, you know, if I ever leave someday, I can take all that stuff with me pretty easily. And it's also going to be close to the array. This is the existing array that's functioning right now. These three, actually it's 4 there. That's just some extras I got. I just got them laid there. They're not actually bolted. They're just sitting there. Plus there's the 4 that are up there and the windmill, which is essentially useless. You know, it needs some service, but yeah, it's putting out power, but very little. Nothing to even speak of, really. But when this is done, I'm going to take those panels off the roof. I'm going to put I have this 9 and I have another 9, so I'm going to double the size of that. You can imagine where that's at because I've already trimmed it out. And I think I'm going to cut back a few of these trees. Not too many. I'm going to keep the little low ones right here. So anyway, let's go have a look at what I got done, and actually have a look-see. So, all I've gone through is, and I lied last night. I went ahead and I used those top-tier batteries in the pack because I'm just so afraid of not really having enough. But I went through 3 tubs of these so far. I haven't even gotten to I'm working my way down from the top. So this row here is the low 2100s, and I took all the upper 2100s, so like 2150 up to 2199s, and they're all in here waiting to get their final test and then put in. So this is what I got done last night. All these, and over here, all those and those. So you know, I've gone through probably a quarter. So let's just figure this out. I got 7 rows. So let's just do a quick one of these deals. Hold on. So yeah. So 4 and a little times, well, 3 and a little times more than what I've already used. So it's going to be close. It's going to be really close. And you know what? If they don't get all the way to the end, no biggie. I'm just going to trim it off. Some of these actually are just snapped together, but some are like long pieces, like 5 or 6 rows. There's one piece. Some of them are just single rows. But I can just not use it, and I can just take a zip wheel or something and just trim that excess off. And that's how big the battery will be. It won't change the voltage. It'll just change the capacity from what I hope I could have. I hope I can have that much capacity, but if it's only to there or there, whatever. It's good enough. But I still obviously have got a mountain to go through. You know, there's probably just this pile is 250, 300 batteries. So they give you an idea. 250, 300, 300. So there's almost 1,000 batteries right there. So maybe not quite, but close. So yeah, roughly 1,000, roughly 1,000. Gone through maybe 1,000. I don't know. So, you know, and I still have down. Kick my heater. This big pile down here. There's a good 80 pounds more there. And a few of these could be retested, but they're just sort of These are the ones that had low voltage. Some of them may have not been fully charged. Some of them have discharged. I would have to retest them. So, you know, I've got like lots of options. I got another box down here with like 300 in there, and a good 150 of those are okay, you know. So what I do is, the first thing I do is I look at them. I see if there's anything that probably should come off. You know, maybe it wouldn't fit in the holders, right? Like that tape there. But if it drops in there, that's fine. Sometimes it's thick and there's goop on them. You know, like some silicone, that kind of thing. See that little bit of tape there? I'd take that off. You know, just clean it up. But that way they slip into these things better, or they don't. Doesn't create a fire hazard when I'm soldering this end. Anyway, I take 4 of them. I put them in. It's 4.15 volts. Originally it was 4.19. And the resistance, milliohm resistance, is 32. So that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Let's check this one. Originally it was 4.2. It's at 4.15, 36 on the resistance scales. I'm not going to throw this one in here, but when I do, I'm going to clean that kind of crap off, because that's the end I'm going to be soldering or spot welding. When the covers are this bad, I'll replace them. So I'll swap these numbers out and write them on a different one. But here's one. Originally was 4.2. If it says 4.2, it doesn't say 4.21, doesn't say 4.19. It says 4.2. There's a lot of them that say 4.2. 4.2. That's because this tester, when you're testing these batteries, it will end with the charge voltage. So the highest charge voltage is 4.2, 4.20, 4.21, something like that. But as soon as it stops testing, it goes to 4.2. That's not really the sitting voltage. So if I test this right now, and I mean I can because I can throw it back in, it's 4.13. So when I write 4.2, that means it wasn't an accurate measurement. When they say 4.12 or something like that, 4.09, they came out of the other testers, which actually tells you the final voltage of the battery itself, not the final charge voltage. This is the final resting voltage. So this one should be closer to that, if it'll even read it. Oh no, that's it there. Okay, so it's 404. That means it has dropped a little, but that's an acceptable amount. Now it's actually trying to recharge, see? So the volts are going up because it's charging the battery. But the resistance is 44. That's fine. That resistance is just fine. I was going to like treating like 100 as my cutoff, but I'm finding so few that are over like 60 or 70. I kind of set myself around 80. So my cutoff number is 80 on the resistance. So all of these are just fine. This is 44, 36, 36, 32. They're all fine. So I pop them right out. I go to where the last row ends, right here, and I put them in. You can see how that silicone sort of binds up a little, but if they press in there, I don't worry about it. Some of them had some solder on the backs. They'll have an X on them, so that before I spot weld the nickel strips on, I'm going to take a little Dremel. I'm going to get the last of that solder off of there, because you can't spot weld to that solder. It's going to mess you up. So yeah, that's pretty much it as far as the way that goes. And it's sort of a slow process, but I can do 4 in about a minute, less than a minute. And you know, but minutes add up to hours, as you can see. Yeah, I mean, that's where I'm at. So I'll keep giving you some basic progress reports on it, but it's not much to really tell now. It's just going to be this for a while. when I get down to my the bottom of the barrel here, so to speak, literally, then I'll get back to you and show you how I'm retesting to find the last few cells that I can get away with putting into this. I don't want to put cells that are like lower than 1500 milliamps. That being said, some of these batteries, even when they were new, they weren't 2000. So, you know, just because they're down to 1500, if they started out at 1800, they're still 80% good batteries, right? So it's fine in these power banks. The way it works is you've got the really high capacity batteries in here. They're already in here now. And then at the bottom is the low capacity batteries. But it pulls down all of them at the same time, right? It's pulling the volts and actually the volts and the amps, the volt amps, out of it. But it pulls everybody down equally. Everybody's balanced, or supposed to be balanced. And it basically comes down to an equal capacity per section. And if you only have, you know, if you have a bucket here that's half full and you got one that's full, and you put two holes that are the same size in those buckets, one bucket is going to run out, and then the other bucket is going to keep pulling down. But the way these batteries work, when your bucket is empty, and by empty I mean 2.5 volts, that's where you want to stop, because you're getting to the critical lower voltage of these cells. And when you go below that, you're messing with the chemistry in the actual battery, the physical battery. And you will degrade that battery severely and possibly cause chemical reaction that will short out the battery. So then when you go to recharge, that battery's been shorted out and a lot of energy is going to go back into that battery, and it's going to be a heater. And when it gets too hot, up over, you know, a boiling temperature of 120, 140, 150 degrees Celsius, you're boiling some chemicals in there and something's going to give. It's going to catch on fire and release its energy. And that's not good. Don't want that. But I think I skipped over something that I was trying to explain there. But when you're drawing them down and your one bucket is empty, ideally the other bucket stops pulling down. So, you know, I know this is a stupid metaphor, but it's a capacity metaphor, you know, water in a bucket. But so you only want to get down to that certain level. You don't want to go lower. But the thing is, if you have several buckets, which is all these 13 buckets, and they all have the same amount of water in them, it doesn't matter if some of those molecules are low quality and some are high quality. It's going to do the same on each bucket, for example. I know that's a silly explanation, but it does make sense, I guess. But anyway, that's where I'm at. And so I'm just going to leave it at that. And that's the update today. So we'll move on. We'll do some more interesting stuff, I'm sure. But I know there's people that are on this channel for this project, and so this is for you. Laters.